Money, 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 money. Hello, everyone. It's that time of year again. It's Money in the Bank time, and it's been a very eventful show. Hello, and welcome to BunkaMania Wrestling here on Twitch and on YouTube as well, wherever you're watching. Hello, welcome to the show. I'm of course the Dekker Dane, and I'm joined by a full contingent of BunkaMania team today. Introducing right next door to me, over there, right there. It's the giraffe for me, Jeremy Graves. Hello, Jeremy. How are you doing?
Oh, mate. Hey, Ian, not too bad. I am quids in for some wrestling talk today.
Yay! And in the bottom right down there. I mean, if you're listening to this in audio, I'm just pointing my fingers down to the bottom right. But there is Harriett, aka Manga Girl. How are we doing?
Yeah, very good. Feeling very great after that pay-per-view, so yes.
Yes. And below me, yep, right down below me, right there, just there. In the square underneath me, it's like Hollywood Squares, just shitter. I'm Maddie. Hey, Maddie, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Have you got change for a tenner?
No. No. What was it? Some sort of bank? You think I've got money in the bank? No, not at all.
Yes. I mean, you are right up there. I can just about reach you.
No.
You might be more on target than Tangaloa was. Let's put it that way.
Hey! He said the thing. But yes, this stream we are talking about everything that went down at this year's Money in the Bank event in, I believe, Canada. Was it Toronto, Canada. So yes, we're going to do a full match rundown. We're going to talk about highlights, lowlights, all that sort of stuff. If you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube and you want to get involved in the discussion, please let us know in the chat. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the show. Again, plenty of things went down. Some surprising, some really surprising, and some predictability, I suppose. I think we've got into a stage with I guess with the WWE PLEs that basically, I think we have an idea of what will mostly happen now, but it's fine. It's like it's a good story. We feel where this story is going, and we're going, okay, this isn't too bad. But yes, but that doesn't mean everything was predictable on the show. So let's start off with general thoughts of the show overall, and let's start off with Jeremy. Jeremy, tell us what do you think about the show?
So, this isn't a bad so. It's me trying to sort of figure out the best way to articulate this. So, speaking as someone, but in case you're a new listener and or viewer, I'm someone who predominantly watches AEW-related programming, and I don't get much opportunity to watch WWE sans for events like these PLEs because I don't have access to watch the weekly TV, just clips on YouTube and stuff via WWE's YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I think this pay-per-view PLE event has actually crystallized the fact for me that I really, really enjoy what I see of WWE. And it's not to say I haven't been enjoying it, but for some reason, I think the build-up with the event in France and then the clash at the castle, where the way that ended, it got such a visceral reaction. It was kind of that moment of, right, what you're going to do next. And just the way this show unfolded, it just really put into context me, where if someone says, why is WWE so great right now? I'd literally go, watch that event. Like, that kind of sums up pretty much everything. Great matches, really shocking stuff that happens, stuff that actually makes you want to see what's going to happen next, and also telegraphs a lot of stuff for the future as well. I think this was overall a very, very strong event.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Harriet, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was... I mean, last year's Money in the Bank, I think, was probably extra special because it was in the UK, so it was kind of more hyped here more than anything. And I was thinking, I hope it kind of lives up to the expectations. I think it did. I honestly really enjoyed this pay-per-view. I do like the fact now that we've got like a set amount of matches and a nice time, so it doesn't go over the top sort of thing. The matches themselves were good. I actually didn't like them. The surprises, there were a few, definitely. And I kind of left thinking, I'm looking forward now going forward. What's going to happen SummerSlam? We even have a pay-per-view tonight in NXT as well. I keep on forgetting that. But so far I haven't really been disappointed with a pay-per-view. I think last month was a bit not flat, but just not as built as what the other pay-per-views. But Money in the Bank really nailed it back in again and kind of made me think, right, okay, now moving forward to SummerSlam, let's see what happens there. So in all, I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. And Matty.
Basically, to add what Harriet said there, the thing about Clash in the Castle is, it was more or less the equivalent of like a very overblown house show with some storyline progression in. But it didn't matter because we all watched that together and had a whale of a time doing so. And what else can you say about environment, as it were, and the fact that it was in the UK? Money in the Bank, always really liked it. I always have to ask what next when it comes to stuff like that. We kind of knew where now we know with one of the cash-ins where that's going. I'm genuinely intrigued with what one of the Money in the Bank holders is going to do with it going forward. Do I think it's been one of the greater WWE pay-per-views we've had this year? It's not exactly completely up there. But what I will say is we are now used to two very different flavors of pay-per-view. AEW give us consistently some incredible work rate based wrestling, and we're thoroughly entertained by that. Do WWE bring something on that same par? No. But do WWE know how to entertain the crowds? Abso-freaking-lutely. And I was entertained by this. So that's really all I've got to say about that for now. Awesome.
Yeah, I think in terms of comparing this to other Money in the Banks, I think I'm okay with this one. I don't think I came away thinking, wow, what an amazing event. I mean, the matches themselves were pretty entertaining. There are a few little blips and bobs in terms of certain aspects of production or presentation or actual aiming stuff, which we will touch on a little bit in the show. But yeah, it's just, it was. I feel overall it was a very solid show. Certain storylines, and these are really engaging storylines as well, progressed quite nicely. And then throw in an unexpected announcement along the way, and everyone was. I think everyone was thoroughly entertained. I mean, I've been doing a quick scour of the other sort of wrestling outlets and all that just to get their general opinions. A lot of people are kind of going, yes, this has been a solid show. A really good observation, and this is from the Wrestle Talk review, was that for a pay-per-view or for a premium live event, which was about 3 hours and 30 minutes, 3 hours 15, there was only about 90 minutes of wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah.
The breaks in between matches were actually driving me up the wall. That is the one big criticism I will give of this show.
I did skip them, I will say, and I was like, that's a pretty long skip.
It's when I talk about two entirely different flavors of pay-per-view, you've got to compare. Unfortunately, you've got to. You compare what the presentation for WWE is right now compared to AEW's, well, you ain't got time to breathe. The next match is happening in literally a minute. You know, it's swings around about. I will say it drives you up the wall if you're watching it pre-recorded. If you're sitting there watching it live, you kind of like the breaks because then you can go off and have a potty break. You can go get a drink with snacks. I have said this every review. What I do appreciate is sometimes the breaks are relatively short. Some of the breaks in this one were a tad long.
I'm pretty sure one was 20 minutes. I don't remember which one, but one of them was in the region of 20 minutes.
It was the one where they repeated a lot of the packages from about a month or two ago. I think we had a Cody Rhodes package and stuff like that already felt like 90 days out of date. Yeah.
So it's interesting sort of on what you folks have been saying because, like I say, not being an avid watcher of WWE and sort of me kind of having this epiphany moment, it kind of almost puts into perspective what are people expecting of their PLEs now. Because like from an in-ring point of view, I thought this was leaps and bounds above most of the shows I've seen this year for WWE. WrestleMania kind of notwithstanding, because that's kind of the crescendo events of the year. But compared to like the show in France, for example, the main thing about the show in France was the crowd. And how that kind of elevated the entire feel of the show. Whereas I actually feel that the in-ring action of this show elevated the reactions of the crowd.
Okay.
I think it kind of helped amplify them to be way more into it, even though the Toronto crowd were really great from the start. Things that were occurring elevated them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does.
I think it goes without saying this was the first WWE pay-per-view that we hadn't watched together as a unit for the I think we watched 2 WWE pay-per-views now in a row.
Pretty much back to back, yeah.
And there is a difference between watching it solitarily than watching it with friends. And I think that was the big difference between our enjoyment of this over the other, if that makes sense. Of course, that's probably going to change for the next 2 WWE pay-per-views because there may be things occurring. But definitely Bash at Berlin, we may well be watching together again. So I think environment definitely has a lot to say on this.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I think, I mean, even with the lengthy kind of breaks, I mean, it didn't ultimately destroy my engagement with the show. It's kind of like, I think as Matty said, you'd like to have the breaks. And when you've gone through like a very spot heavy fest that was, say, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, or even the women's Money in the ladder match, you want to have that kind of calm and kind of reset before the next sort of emotional roller coaster begins, or the next sort of the next sort of story beat comes along that you need to be fully focused and aware for. So let's get into the show. First things first, I loved this year's theming. I love the little. I like the
really
little,
good fun.
I like the little secret agent. It's a heist, you see. Come on, we've got masks, we've got suitcases, we've got many doors. Come, follow me through this door.
Very Catch Me As You Can as well.
Yes, and then for some reason rap begin, and then they were all doing like little Fortnite dances, which was just, which is like, why?
Imagine the Repo Man, but today.
Yes. And also speaking like he was the 1930s or 1940s. Come along, you see, Cary Grant.
I mean, for many years on the indies, Adam Pearce was referred to as a faux repo man. So technically, you had an impersonator there.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like, because last year they had like the spot they did because they were in England. They kind of Bond spy. It's a mission to climb the ladder and grab the briefcase. But now it's just like, come on, everyone, we got masks. Hey, see? Hey, you see? We're going to get the big case, you see? We're going to cash in, you see? We're going to become world champion, you see? These ladders be damned. Come, climb. like I said, I mean, sometimes the theming for these events have gotten better, and I absolutely just adored Money in the Bank this year in terms of just the style, and even like the arena things, like they had the arena ribbons, and you see like the Money in the Bank logo kind of floating around, but then you see one of the little guys with masks just running by with the case as well, which is quite cool.
When it wasn't showing the boys. Sorry, Harry.
No. Oh yes.
When it wasn't oh god, yeah. I mean, I did like the little ching every time they brought up a new repeat of the action that happened before. I don't know if they'd done that prior, but I noticed that. I mean,
that's the same sound effect as an eBay purchase, so I kept thinking I'd sold something on eBay. It's like cha-ching. It's like, what, this time? Oh wait, it's a replay. Damn it.
I thought I'd had my score counted up in Sonic the Hedgehog or something, personally.
But we open up with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. It was Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight versus, I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Jey Uso, and Chad Gable. I believe that's all 6 of them. Have I missed someone out?
No, I think that's all 6.
I'm just saying because Matty's got 4 fingers up to me, so it's like I don't know.
I'm just like the 4 horsemen. Hang on, who we gone through again?
Drew, LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Jey Uso, and Chad Gable. Fine,
there we go.
Good.
We missed one.
Oh, good. No, good. We didn't miss one. We just. I'm used to it. Thank God it's not 8 this year. It's been like many different numbers. It seems like it's 6. This is a nice number. I like 6. Less chaos. Well, this match was still a lot of chaos. As you know, Money in the Bank ladder matches, there are spot fests galore, and this one really did disappoint. Andrade was on a bit of a mission, wasn't he?
He wanted to break some backs, I tell you.
Yeah, Spanish flies, dropping leg drops, all that sort of stuff, and even just completely destroying Carmelo Hayes with a sunset flip after LA Knight pushed him off like top of the ladder into another ladder. So many ladders.
I was saying this. I was saying this to Stitch in both the Money in the Bank matches. Wow, I'm guessing the NXT call-ups are getting their licks today.
Oh God! Oh
look
yeah,
how many people got.
Well,
yeah, look how many of them just got dropped head first or back first into the ladder.
Oh God! It's like you want an introduction into Money in the Bank or your induction into WWE. Here you go.
I will say, actually, when it comes to the action, both in this and the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, I thought this was some of the most innovative action in a Money in the Bank ladder match we have seen in a very long time. I mean, you mentioned Andrade. The first thing he did, like the springboard leg drop kind of in between two ladders, where it looked like he mullered his shoulder or something. It's like, they even pointed out on commentary, it's like, he didn't have a lot of room there, but it was stuff like that and the innovative use of things, some of which, particularly in the women's match, which we'll get to, looked ridiculously insane. But it was kind of that element, again, going back to my earlier point of, it was that stuff that was elevating the reactions of the crowd because of how different it and unique it felt. And I thought this match was really, really good.
I mean, it was a good thing that everyone kind of had their little moments. I think everyone had their little moments, but in terms of like going into it, I think there was only kind of a plausible like one or two winners you could really kind of really believe could win the match, and that would probably
Chad Gable.
Well, I had the masterstroke idea of Chad Gable winning, because if we were doing long-term storytelling, and we know Trips loves his long-term storytelling, Chad Gable would win Money in the Bank. He would wait until Gunther became the world champion in Berlin. And then he would cash it in to get the ultimate revenge from making his daughter cry. That was why I was thinking, it's like, yes, I like this idea. That didn't happen.
No,
no, instead, he did an overhead belly-to-belly suplex on LA Knight onto a ladder.
He even suplexed the ladder. That ladder needed a suplex.
It's one of the most... When he started lifting up that ladder, it was that moment of like, how are you going to... Oh, that's how you did it. Okay.
Yes. So, I mean, also Chad had the White Six kind of lurking over him, because when he arrived, he stopped. He was kind of going, they're not here, are they?
Yeah, kept looking over the shoulder.
Yeah. No, we're okay.
Is that why he was doing that?
Yeah.
Because
I didn't clock that at all.
Yeah, it's weekly thing. He's been doing it anytime he's been appearing. He's been a bit shifty now. So, because of course he's predominantly been the Wyatt Six's victim in all of this.
Yes.
The one that we're aware of anyway at this point. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, maybe Gable's a clone.
Maybe that's not the real Gable. Maybe it's just from the Creed Brothers factory. I don't know. I don't know where I went with that. It seems that it sounds weird. But yes, Chad Gable. I thought Chad Gable would be kind of like a nice left. It would be like, yeah, you would hope Chad Gable would get something, but it was like, okay, we'll probably stick with the Wyatt Six for a little bit. I mean, it's ultimately a coin toss between Drew and Jay, to be perfectly honest. And the most sensible storyline won. It's more Drew with his hypocritical kind of view of things at the moment has decided to go for Money in the Bank to get his championship back after it's cost him so many times. And he did it by yeeting a ladder right into Jay's face.
Oh God, that was painful.
Honestly, that's part of the innovation stuff. Like, no one's ever done that before, from what I can recall.
No, I don't think I've seen that either.
When was the very first Money in the Bank match?
WrestleMania 21.
21.
Yep.
Right.
The year that Shawn Michaels Kurt Angle happened, and it was also Los Angeles 2005. He says, trying to remember off the top of his head.
So next year's 20th anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah, I was. That's what I was thinking about, because I felt that it was a mid-20s thing. So a mid like 2000s. So it's like we've got to be getting towards a landmark now for that. But yeah, master stroke for Master Gable. Am I right, Dane?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, why are you looking up? Oh, I'm not. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Chad almost won it. He was dangling off the briefcase for a little bit before he kind of went face first into the ground.
I had memories of Jeff Hardy then when that happened.
I honestly thought Wyatt Six would appear at that point and then suddenly just surround the floor, and then suddenly he's like, no, I'm just going to stay up here. I'm good.
It's safe. It's perfectly safe. Just dangling in the middle of the ring from a briefcase.
Oh, that landing though. Oh,
But yes, after all the ladder spots galore and the ladder to Jay's face, Drew McIntyre collected the briefcase, which was also sponsored by Voight Enterprises, which is a fictional organization from The Boys, because of The Boys sponsorship. And that was really weird. It's been very weird, The Boys sponsorship. Even Cody was dressed as Homelander for a promo.
No,
like a promo video a couple of weeks ago as well, just to promote The Boys, not anything WWE related. So it was like, it's really weird. They even had like a speech from a fictional CEO, and it's like, why?
Because it's sponsored by The Boys. I brought this up to Stitch when we were watching this. I think this is going to age particularly well in about a year's time when we're watching these pay-per-views on Netflix. They got adverts for Prime.
Yes.
I mean, look, think of all the other past tie-in sponsorship, like the Russell Crowe movie during the Hell in a Cell match.
Yes, because Russell Crowe, he really loves Hell in a Cell. Russell Crowe really loves Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, a lot of these are probably going to age weirdly, but I mean, look, I've seen a little bit of The Boys, not much, just time and life, but it's like, okay, cool. You're getting that as your sponsorship, but yeah. I will say for me, I won't label this point, The Boys sponsorship was one of the least invasive we have had in quite a while on PLEs.
This is
like the Call of Duty one, you couldn't escape it. Yeah. But this one, it just kind of blended, and I kind of liked that, which probably means we'll never get it again because it blended too well.
Fair enough. But generally, thoughts on Drew winning the briefcase?
Right guy won it.
Okie dokie.
Harriet, I think your mic might be muted.
Yes, I was just about to let you know in the chat.
That's cool. Well, while you're doing that, I will say I think for the direction that Drew's psyche is going in, I think it made the most sense. And honestly, what it led to, it adds more fuel to the fire of what else could be coming for this. And I look forward to seeing how it is going to develop further. But yeah, it made sense, honestly. And it was also very interesting to hear a mixed response from the crowd. And you immediately heard CM Punk chants. Some people clearly were cheering him. Some were just booing. So it's probably very much going to be a country by country thing as to how people will react.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that. There was a very interesting reaction to what goes down later on in the pay-per-view as well. It was a bit more mixed than you would think it would be.
Yeah. We still can't hear, I'm afraid, Harriet. Yeah, Harriet's gonna crack on. But we'll
you talk me through, Harry, and we will come back to you, we promise.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, we'll crack on. We'll crack on, and once sound comes back, we'll come back and ask your thoughts on Money in the Bank winner. So we go from a Money in the Ladder match to an Intercontinental Championship match between Underdog Supreme Sami Zayn versus the man who will quite literally destroy you with a single spear and can achieve land speeds of up to 20 miles per hour. It is, of course, Bron Breakker, who also got brand new theme music as well, which I think was on the side of real grunge.
I didn't even realize that was new, because one of the first things I wrote down, I've heard a lot about Bron Breakker and seen the odd clip.
Yes,
I think you're back, Harriet. So you know what? I'm going to hold that thought.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to hold my thought on Bron Breakker. I'll let you finish your thoughts on the men's ladder match.
Yes. So let's reverse back to Harriet. Harriet, what do you think about Drew McIntyre winning the case?
It was the best choice, because I don't think anything going forward, Jay, it wouldn't have benefited Jay, if anything, because I think he's already going to have his own. He's going to have a future championship match in the time being. But Drew was the right person to win. I meant to say, obviously, something later on, like a very bad timed or tweets that haven't aged well. And literally there is a tweet saying, buy your money in the shirt winner, Drew McIntyre. I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Has an item ever left WWE shop in such quick fashion?
It'll be a collector's item before you know it.
I mean, it's the same as when Cody won Royal Rumble, and then obviously all that stuff went down. But Drew was the right person to win. I was happy he won. Obviously, stuff happening later on. Reasons why, best man won. Okay, carry on.
Cool. Before we carry on, one last point from the chat by one Sean Michael Dunn, who says in regards to Jey Uso eating a ladder, eating a ladder is hard. It's a step-by-step process.
Right, I put the mic on at the wrong time.
So the Bron Breakker.
So fast forward back to where we are. We're now back in the future. We're back in the present, and the present is all about Bron Breakker versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. Go, Jeremy.
I will say, Sean, fair play. But for Bron Breakker, so I've not seen much of it. Sans some clips. I've heard a lot, and my God, the start of this song, which I didn't realize was a new thing. The first thing I thought of was, oh, this is Scott Steiner circa late WCW, because it started with a siren. And my God, I cannot tell you, hearing him talk, as someone who's not, again, seen many clips of him and stuff talking, I genuinely just thought, holy crap, he really is a Steiner. Like, because I hear Scott Steiner so much in him, and he is going to be incredible. Like, he was so good in this match. I actually genuinely thought he was going to dethrone Sami, because I'll be honest, I think the IC title has really suffered since it's actually gone off Gunther. I love Sami, but from what I have seen on these PLEs, I don't get the direction. I know they did the whole like Chad thing, and that makes sense, but it kind of feels like the IC title itself has kind of fallen back. And I know Sami's kind of been saying now he wants to defend it against people, but this is a great way to start that. And if anything, I can almost expect them to have a rematch and Bron kind of saying, I was really close, so close type thing.
Yeah, the thing I kind of liked about this match, and it was pretty much the narrative of the match, is basically, yes, Sami was able to get a few licks in against Bron, but anytime Bron like delivered a move, Sami suffered. So it's like, even if it was just like a slam, whether it was just like a clothesline, whether it was just being thrown around, it's like it was wearing Sami down quite a bit.
Also, I will say as well, before I let someone else chime in, that I thought his tights, I don't know if anyone else clocked this, his tights felt like a homage to really early 90s Steiner Bros tights, which were just like garishly high vis. He had it like his like hazard tape style.
Oh, he has a collection.
Oh,
he has a lovely collection.
Oh, he's had like leotards that are way more brighter than that.
I'm envious I've not seen these.
Back in the old colourful 2.0 days, he had some very fluorescent leotards. Just one point that Shawn Michael Dunn has said again. Everyone calling the PLE predictable, but they didn't predict Sami winning.
I didn't, to be fair.
I think a lot of people, just based on how Bron has been booked from coming up into Raw and just laying waste left, right, and center, effectively writing Ricochet off to AEW land, all that sort of stuff, is basically this man is unstoppable. And it's just kind of like, I saw him on the very first episode of NXT 2.0, where he was just a bouncing little happy to be here babyface, like, my name's Bron Breakker, I just want a chance to prove myself. And now he's just turned into like this uber kind of badass of just, I'm just going to spear you in two. And usually when he spears someone, it's quite great fun to watch at the same time, because it looks like it really does hurt. But yeah, I think a lot of people wanted to see the SummerSlam 2014, just basically Bron just completely for like 10-15 minutes just destroy Sami, or even just squash him in like a couple of seconds with a spear. But no, it's like, to be fair, it is the Intercontinental Championship. You need to have, I think it needs to have a good match to it as well. And I liked this match. I like this match. I'm surprised Bron didn't win. I'm not thinking, oh no, they're not believing in Bron. It's like, no, I think Bron is going to come out of this even better and even more kind of like aggressive.
Can you imagine weekly television now? He's going to be really angry.
Oh yes.
I mean,
makes me so angry.
Adam Pearce better move.
I suppose ultimately what I really want for Sami Zayn is I don't just want him to be an underdog constantly. And it feels like the majority of matches that I've seen on the PLEs that I watch, he always seems to be an underdog. And it's like, he's more than freaking capable. Like,
I think that was the problem of this one. It was kind of like, going in, you thought, oh well, Braun's going to win, especially the last few weeks of him just being totally destroyed. And then I will admit, I was surprised that he actually won, because I honestly had it that Braun would win. But yeah, it's kind of, it makes sense because it was in Canada and he's a champion. It's just like, well, we had this last month at Clash of the Castle. I don't think people in Canada don't want to have the same thing of that happening. So
Canada lost in the main event. It's fine.
I think though it doesn't hurt either of them going forward. I do want to see a rematch. It possibly might happen. I don't know, but if anything, this is just going to add more fuel to Braun's fire. If anything,
I mean, WWE are prepped with their cameras to capture any sort of speed Braun does, whether it just be running around the ring. Because I love the overhead shot now they just have ready to go. When he's, oh no, he's running! Quick, overhead cam, quick!
Now it's funny you mention that. I must ask, because I don't remember which commentator it was, but one of the commentators said something to the effect of, when Bron Breakker comes running off of a rope, he is moving at 25 miles an hour.
That was Michael Cole.
Yes.
Is that a legitimate thing? Have they done a speed test done on that?
Yes. There's even been in some of his final matches in NXT, when he does the crazy ring bounce, there are times where the ring is actually moving with him. Yeah, and it's something to see. It's just you see some of the small short videos of him just like doing sneak attacks. It's like he just gallops through the crowd before he spears Ricochet a month or two ago, and it's just like no man, it's frightening. A guy can run that fast and still be built like a tank. And
if Bron Breakker did that on some of the UK indie shows that I see's rings, the rings would be out the building.
Yeah. The chat's bringing up comparisons between Bron Breakker and Ryback.
I will not allow this man to be sullied in such a way.
Hang on, I'm about to say the big difference between Ryback and Bron Breakker. Number one, charisma, but also number two, Ryback was clearly a callback to like the Bill Goldberg streak. Once that got taken away, you didn't really have much left of Ryback except for that stupid bully gimmick. Yeah. Bron Breakker has like talent for days. He's got charisma for days. Like he can literally bounce back from anything.
The ring ropes.
Literally the ring ropes. If he wanted to, he could bounce off the blinking railings.
Yeah.
Railings won't stop him. But no, I think it's safe to say we're not going to have another Ryback situation here because look at his genetics right there. So, yeah, for good or ill, he's got those genetics that will make him a good all-rounder. So,
a couple of years, he'll be in a genetic freak phase in a couple of years.
With the chainmail, and then it's Bron Max.
Literally
Bron Max.
Yeah. What I'm saying, let's put those fears to rest right away. This is not another Ryback situation. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and if you are familiar with his run in NXT, when it was the Day Glow nightmare of NXT 2.0, it's like he's more from like really boring babyface who's just really, really strong to just adding levels of just like, well, no, I know I'm fast, I know I'm strong, I know I can just spear you for a wall if I really wanted to, all that sort of stuff. I think there's great things ahead for Bron Breakker, and it's like, he's lost here. It's surprising, but it's not the be all end all of, oh no, you've destroyed the mystique, you've destroyed it. Because the one thing I will say about Money in the Bank from watching it live and looking at social media, it's like a lot of people who do review WWE stuff for like a living in the profession, they were quite going, this spend's fine. And then other people going, no, this is waste of Money in the Bank. It's like, how dare it's like trips and it's like,
You're not going to please everyone, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Especially wrestling fans.
Yes.
What doesn't kill Bron Breakker can only make him faster,
stronger.
Speaking of
live,
they did twig on. I was going to say that, but his knee apparently.
They said it was involving the table outside, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think it is flying clothesline or Steiner line, whatever it was.
Because I noticed later on, I don't know if it was the post show, but they were talking to Braun. He was talking to the person about his knee. I could clearly hear that saying, "Oh yeah, I can't walk on it much." And I was just like, "Oh, I hope this isn't real."
Get that man a pogo stick.
But then again, probably if it's just a slight knee injury, he'll probably be back very quickly. And then he'll go at speed to 27 miles per hour.
Get that man the world's largest knee ice pack.
Yes.
Just wrap his knee in a literal block of ice.
But we move on from Intercontinental Championship to a lovely appearance by Trish Stratus, who was the host of Money in the Bank.
You wouldn't have known it.
You wouldn't have known it, yeah, without the constant.
Oh my god!
And she gave everyone a surprise by saying, "Look who's here! It's John Cena."
Hey, everyone's favorite Canadian hero.
Yes, but everyone's.
But before we go to talk about Stratus' dialogue here, because I was genuinely confused, because there's something to the effect of, I was once a mystery partner for someone, and I'm thinking, what? I literally was just going, who the hell were you a mystery partner for? And then somebody said John Cena, and it's like, what? When?
I vaguely remember it.
It was like, I do vaguely remember this happening. But that said, John Cena's back, and then I looked at the screen and saw what he was holding and went, "Oh, Ian, I'll let you continue."
So, full disclosure, I did not notice what he was wearing when he arrived. Like, oh, John Cena's here. Oh, it's a typical John Cena thing of, I'm here to kind of hype up the crowd to say maybe one day you will host a WrestleMania. I'm pretty certain Toronto has hosted a WrestleMania, but
correct.
But maybe they can host it again someday.
WrestleMania 6 and 18.
Yes. So, yes, John Cena pops in, has a quick hello, and then just abruptly says, "Oh yeah, I'm retiring." And it's a complete. If you didn't see what he was wearing, it's a complete blindside.
Yeah.
The towel that he said when he did his usual entrance towards the camera, it said the last time is now, or my last time is now, and I saw that and just thought, oh
yeah.
Yeah,
except
if you believe the post show afterwards. No, it's not.
No,
we can elaborate on that. But this spectacle was something.
I mean, for me, I'm all. Every time John comes out to do these speeches, I was waiting for the time to say, you know what, it's time to stop now. So when it actually did happen, it's kind of like, it's like what? It's a surreal thought. And in the promo, he talks about Rumble. He wants to be on Netflix, Raw on Netflix when that starts in January next year. He wanted the Rumble next year is going to be his last Rumble. Elimination Chamber is going to be his last one. And you had the impression from that promo that WrestleMania next year was the final match. Post show, there's a great sort of never-ending Q&A session with John Cena, by the way, which was just brilliant. But to clarify, John Cena is going to be wrestling throughout 2025, starting in January. They're working out dates with WWE because he's got filming commitments such as Peacemaker Season 2, all that sort of stuff. And ultimately, by the end of 2025, it's done. It's
December
over.
2025, John Cena as a active wrestler is done.
It's done. He's not, and he's confirmed if he does any appearances for WWE, he's not wearing the attire, he's not wearing the jorts, he's not wearing the hats or the armbands. He's going to be in a nice suit and tie, which he does rock quite nicely in a lot of his interviews, and that's it. And it's like it. I'm still trying to process this a little bit, to be perfectly honest.
Can I sweeten the pot or darken it, depending on your point of view? He currently shares a certain WWE record with another someone who's significantly older than him. He shares the WWE logistical record of 16 world title reigns with Ric Flair. Now, one of the things he mentioned was taking part in Royal Rumble.
Yep.
So are we potentially suggesting here that he could try and break the record?
I think if they want to tell a story, the other things that have been in my head kind of think about it is we've had Sting's retirement, and Sting went out with a win, with a high. It wasn't, it was like when people retire, it's always, you got to put people over. But I think there is a situation and a very good case for Cena to go out in a similar fashion with like Sting on a high. And if during that journey that is picking up the 17th World Championship to give him the record, I'm not opposed to that idea. I think, yes, do it, to be perfectly honest. If it works storyline-wise, do it.
Just replying to what Felf is asking here about logistical records. So basically, Ric Flair has had way more than 16 world title runs. He's had more like 21 to 30, depending on which territory he's wrestled in. But, however, the world record titles recognized by the WWE historical records are the NWA Championship, in particular the ones that ran from ye old times right up to when WCW took over it. WCW World Championships, the big gold belt WWE flavored edition,
World Heavyweight Championship,
that one,
1.0.
Obviously the WWE Championship itself, and then obviously now you've thrown in the Universal and the current WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So all in all, I'd say there's 6 different titles that you can throw in that the WWE officially recognizes as historically their world title reigns, because of their own track record and their own histories. So with that being said, Ric Flair recognized as 16 title reigns. John Cena won his 16th title. Was it at Elimination Chamber?
Rumble 2016.
Yeah.
No, hang on. No, Rumble 2017. He lost it 3 weeks later to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. And Felf, you never talk shite in the chat. You just say good things that may break brains. But yes, so it's a very interesting prospect if they go down that road, because then not only is it beneficial to John Cena, it's also beneficial to the WWE to say, we have made history. We have broken records. We now have a 17-time world champion in John Cena. So I could see that very much being a real prospect.
Yeah. I think in terms of what the 20-25 years kind of does, I think obviously there's going to be a big moment at WrestleMania, and yeah, basically I out of losing the last match or winning the last match, I'm more in favor of give him the win, let him ride off into the sunset, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think it's very hard to process. I think it's going to get harder through the year for those very familiar with John Cena. Or those, it's like my personal sense of John Cena is like, it's like he's just part of the furniture. He's just part of what WWE. If you say to him, to this generation now, pretty much name a WWE wrestler, probably 9 times out of 10, it's going to be John Cena who's the first one who's mentioned, to be perfectly honest.
And then just before him, possibly Randy Orton.
Yeah. And there's a question in the chat about hard to process. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, I guess it's things of life. It's like something is so familiar, it's there day in, day out. I know for ironically, well, not really ironically, but kind of the interesting note is Cena hasn't been there regularly full time since like 2015, 2016.
He's had one foot in, 1 foot out.
But he's still there to do a match. He's still there to be involved if the opportunity and the time arises. So you're kind of expecting a Cena appearance. Or basically, I think he's still on this sort of long record of having a match every year, regardless if he's full-time or not. He's had a match. He's had a televised match every year.
I think when the writer's strike happened and then he did come back, I think that was the point where I think a lot of people thought, oh my God, I actually really miss John Cena, because it's kind of, I said this earlier in my video, I started watching wrestling not long after he started, so I kind of grew up watching Cena at the same time he was progressing. So like yourself, Ian, it was just like when I heard that, it was kind of, it was going to come at one point, but it was still like a gut punch, and even I was crying because I was just like,
I did too.
Damn.
I'll admit it.
I
didn't. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I think
okay.
because I'm a fan of his. I mean, I know a lot of people hated him, as per se, because we had to hate him. But I was always the one who'd always liked him per se. But yeah, that was hard to hear.
If I may, I think the analogy I'll use for this, and there's actually 2 I'll use, is I'm pretty sure we documented it on one of our podcasts, but the reaction when it was announced when and where Sting's final match would be, and that feeling that I had, and then the actual match itself, it was just kind of all the memories of like something that, like you said, Harry, you've grown up with. It's been a fixture in your life for so long. It's like the other analogy, like you've got a band that you've loved since from as far back as you can remember. Then they're announced they're doing their farewell tour. And when you get to see them on that tour and you just think, this is the final time I'm going to hear all of these songs live, or you may likely hear all of these final songs live. It's like, for another example, I freaking love Metallica. The last time I saw them was when they played at Twickenham pre-lockdowns and stuff, 2018-ish, I think it was. And I went into that show thinking, this might be the last time I ever see Metallica live. I'm going to eat up every moment of this. I'm going to take it all in. Even when they played a song that virtually no one in the stadium gave a shit about, we all still took it in because it was a moment. And ironically, they're still touring now, far reduced schedule. They were back in the UK. I couldn't get there because it was at a festival. That aside, I appreciate I'm digressing. But this is kind of what this announcement is. It's the John Cena farewell tour. And they've said, I think you might have said this already, so forgive me if I'm doubling over now, but he's currently said between 30 to 40 dates in 2025, which 52 weeks in a year, that's roughly between 30 and 40 weeks of the year, John Cena will likely be a fixture on our screens. Sans like some of those might be PLEs notwithstanding.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a large chunk of the year that he's going to be about. And obviously the other things to think about is, will Hall of Fame be part of that this year? Will they wait to a long time after? There's other like ancillary things that they could include in that. But the thing about this, it's the fact it's been announced is what makes it more of a gut punch. Because part of me just expected we just, would see him every so often. And then eventually we just wouldn't see him.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I imagine. It's the announcement that's made it feel far bigger. And also, to kind of sound a bit shrewd and businessy about it now, John Cena said it himself, he's never been on a WWE show on Netflix. No. And the fact that this final year of John Cena, and I think even Triple H alluded to this as well, will be available to 80% of the globe when WWE moves internationally pretty much only to Netflix. Yeah. In terms of what more reason do you need to sign up to Netflix?
Yeah.
John Cena's final year.
I'm actually going to interject because I'm reading the chat and they're basically saying is like, why are we sort of like being down on this and all that? He's got a whole...
I'm not at all. If it sounds like
that,
I don't
know.
Let me just address it.
I shall mute for the benefit of you.
Okay. Right. So we know, ultimately we know he's got a whole career. He's got a really successful career ahead of him, let alone like he's not going to stop. He's not going to stop at all. Like, there's a film. We were talking about this in the Bunker chat a few days ago. Like, there's a comedy film that he's going to be
Jackpot.
Jackpot, which is about a lottery, like a lethal lottery, if you want to take a wrestling term. And we all watched that, and we were thoroughly entertained by it to the point that this is the first time in a long time I've seen a John Cena starring trailer, and the first time since the train wreck. I actually want to watch this film. So I absolutely fair dues to the guy. It's not that we're saying, well, that's it now, because we've got years of John Cena to come. And if fact, bigger and better things to come with John Cena. I think Harriett as well, but made a really good point, and I'll surmise and I'll draw a comparison to something from my own experiences as well. Like, there's a load of people who are fans of wrestling where all they know is the John Cena era. This is like, for me, I started watching wrestling like religiously when I was watching episodes of WCW on the Sunday afternoon. So my biggest guys were like Cactus Jack, Sting, Vader. None of those three guys are wrestling now, and the last of those guys retired earlier this year. At All In last year, that was the only time I actually felt emotional enough and I started tearing up because I finally got to see Sting wrestle live in one of the biggest stadiums on the planet. So, and now he's not there and he's not wrestling. And there is a small amount of bereavement to the fact that there is an end of an era. But that doesn't stop the fact that Sting is now like farming away happily in his estate, and the fact that he can always come back. But a part of like my upbringing in wrestling went away when he did. And so for some of these guys here and for some of the people in wrestling, a part of that's going to go away with them. It is a little sad, but we are very much appreciated the fact that we can go off and watch a John Cena film and be thoroughly entertained by it, for good or ill, because it might be poo, but we will still be entertained by it. So absolutely. Absolutely. So I think that is the point we're all trying to make here. We're not saying, well, that's it now, game over, because we've still got a year. And the fact is, the way it's been stated, we're actually going to get more John Cena in 2025 than we have done in the last several years. And that's also something to celebrate.
We're effectively going to get a year-long ride to celebrate the career of John Cena.
Yes.
And I'm here for it. I am.
And it's going to be a fun ride because, heck, I mean, if you've seen the post-show press conference and stuff, and I appreciate we'll move on in a second, Ian, as well, and let you get your thoughts in on this properly. But there is an element of there's so much of a new roster he's not interacted with. The possibilities are endless for what he could do. I'll say it now. If he just does basically 6-man tags all year, I have no qualms with that because the interactions he could have could be great fun. As it's been proven, 6-man tags are really good fun.
As been proven by New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you want your main stars to rest up, just stick them in multi-man matches for an entire year. Hello, Tanahashi. Also, get well soon, Minoru Suzuki.
But Ian, what about your take on this? Because I appreciate we've done a lot of the talking. So how are you feeling on this?
I think I was, like I said, I'm fine. It's like, it's kind of for me as someone who's just been very familiar with Cena around the place. It's like that, and that I knew the eventuality was coming. It's like I said, running in at the start of this, it's like every time he comes out, I'm expecting the retirement thing now because it's like, it's clear to the stage he's doing very well in Hollywood. He's having great successes, and it's like the time is coming, and it's just like you think you wouldn't hear it, and it's like, oh, we've heard it now, because it's like, in theory, I kind of thought his last proper match was against Solo Sikoa at one of the Saudi shows, where he got completely brutalized with spikes. The attack move, not literal spikes, by the way. And basically we just thought that's it. That's the end. There's like, if that's the end, it's like, okay, he's put over new talent, and it's a very quiet thank you, because basically he said during his last run is basically, as soon as the strike's over, I'm gone. I'm done. I'm out of here. So it's kind of like you're already kind of getting used to that feeling when he says, I'm done. I'm not here. It's that simple. That career takes priority now. And it's like, okay. But I think it's just the notion, and also the way he's very firmly, and bearing in mind, Shawn Michaels said he wouldn't wrestle again. And that went well. In that sort of sense.
I don't know what you're talking about, Ian. It never happened.
Yeah, it never happened. It never happened. Never. But no, the way he seems like he's firmly resolved to kind of going, when this is done, that's it. I will just be supported in a nice suit backstage, all that sort of stuff. In that sort of way. I'm kind of rambling a bit on this. I think I need a bit more time to kind of really put things into perspective a bit. It's like, I think the start of this is like, okay, it's a year long of Cena. This is good. But I think towards the end of next year, I think it might be a bit more
emotional.
hard. Yeah.
It will start to sink in a bit more. But now, in terms of emotions, may I put to you the following merchandising idea?
Oh, yes.
Based on something that John Cena said in the post-match press conference. Because it was randomly brought up by someone, are we going to kind of see like a darker side of John Cena? And are we going to see him do freestyling and stuff? And he mentioned in passing, his album turns 20 years old.
Oh.
I have that album.
we need like a remastered deluxe edition with so much tat included. It's clearly a cash cow. I need to see what ludicrous merchandise they can generate from this album.
Just a retrospective documentary of him sat there listening to his tracks and just going, oh yeah, when I did Bad Man. Basically, I love the song Bad Man because the music video is him dressed as Hannibal from the 80s. Yes! Just going, I'm a bad man.
It's such a good video.
It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. It's like, I think, yeah, it's like the two songs you know him from the early days. It's basic thugonomics, just simple basic thugonomics from evil, kind of heelish John Cena rap days, and then basically the time is here, the time is now, all that sort of stuff.
There's 17 tracks on this album.
Yes.
Can I just point out that Felf at this very moment has just discovered via us there is a John Cena album and is going ballistic. So I'm in the process of trying to find them. The soundtrack on Spotify right now.
Yeah, I think it is on Spotify.
I think actually from I can't remember which year edition it is, but I think in one of the 2K game collector's editions I got for PS4, I do actually have a signature of John Cena's as well, because I think he did like a big there's an art piece thing that he signed. What was that Nakamura?
If you ever get a chance to meet him, you should get him to sign the thing that you've already got a signature on.
It's like, just to make sure it's true, just to make sure it's real. Just to make sure it's real.
Oh god.
All that sort of stuff. But yeah,
I will say, I think what might be fun for a future episode of this might be giving our take on, if we all had a little think about it, in a way like a kind of fantasy booking thing, like what would we map out for a year for the final year of John Cena? It might be something to consider in some way, shape, or form.
That's something we could probably do towards the tail end as we move into the end of year stuff.
Yeah,
but also for 2025, it's the farewell tour. Maybe we find maybe his top 10 best rated matches by like Wrestling Observer and stuff like that, and kind of rewatch those and kind of go, okay, where was Cena in this career at this point in time? So
his top 10 5 moves of doom.
Yes, and we can also do a John Cena season on BunkaMania Wrestling Goes to the Movies.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Everything from the reunion, which I haven't watched, 12 rounds, where he takes on Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Does that mean we get to watch Suicide Squad as well then?
The Suicide Squad, yes, because that's in like golden era. That's golden era scene.
There you go.
That's where he's climbing up. And also Trainwreck. Trainwreck is great. That's basically where people went, hang on, he can make you laugh. Why aren't we putting him in comedies? He was going to be the king of CrossFit, and Amy Schumer was going to be his queen. It's amazing.
Speaking of king of CrossFit
and CrossFit Jesus himself, we move on to the World Heavyweight Championship match between Seth Rollins and Damian Priest, El Champion. Basically, this match comes in with a little bit of a gentleman's bet. If Seth Rollins wins, Damian Priest has to leave the Judgment Day. If Damian Priest wins, Seth Rollins can no longer challenge for the World Championship while Damian Priest holds that belt. And yes, this was quite for most of it. It was like a fast-paced power move match. It was just a lot of heavy strikes and heavy throws and all that sort of stuff, which was great. But I think a lot of the discussion is coming towards the tail end of this match, leading to what kind of happened.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. But before we get to shenanigans, there's the odd count as well.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before we get to that.
Yeah.
What's the way to ask this question? Because you guys are watching regularly and stuff. From my perspective, as this match was starting and they showed that video package, is it me or was there way too much going on around this match? Because there was the thing about the Judgment Day element, there's the not challenging element, there's will Drew come in, and also the Drew thing, in my opinion, shouldn't have mattered until it happened. But there was an instance in the match where both Drew and Damian individually looked up to the ramp, the entranceway, and basically said, "Come on, Drew, where are you?" They were kind of just telegraphing, nothing's going to happen until he comes down. And in a weird way, it kind of disconnected me because there were so many moving parts to this story.
I think going in towards the event itself, what was it? I think McIntyre made it very clear if he wins the case, he's cashing in that night. That's basically what he had said prior. So during the early stage of the match, where they're doing moves and occasionally just looking down the alleyway, they're kind of going, well, if Drew says he's going to cash in, Drew sounds like he's pretty much going to be a man of his word this time round. Yeah. So that's going to happen. Just a side note as well. Thank you to Filoni for subbing and for also sending through 50 bits as well. Thank you very much. Most appreciated. Thank you. So yeah, and in terms of other things around the storylines going around it, we have the whole sort of Judgment Day shenanigans of Liv Morgan going on at the moment, and the clear indication that Finn Balor at some point is going to stab Damien in the back.
Yep.
At some point. I mean, they kind of slightly alluded to it, or very blatantly alluded to it in the pre-match thing. Basically, I'm going to go out for a match now. Stay here. I'm going to do this by myself. And Finn's just smiling, and then it's just like, I'm going to kill that man at some point.
Yep.
And it's. I think we're expecting it, and it's going to probably happen at some point. And Sean Michael Dunn has also subscribed as well. Thank you very much. Yay! There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah. So and Seth's just come back from his break after WrestleMania. There's that sort of overbearing swinging pendulum. I can't remember what the name of the swinging knife thing is, but it's like a swinging pendulum knife, just kind of going. Eventually, Drew's appearing at some point, and he did appear after that little botch. So basically, Falcon Arrow reversals galore. A Falcon Arrow gets hit. There is a clear count of nearly 3 where basically nothing happens. Damien doesn't kick out, and everyone's just basically Damocles. Thank you, sort of Damocles. The thing hangling over people, and basically there's just this weird moment of what's just happened because it's very clear that Damien hasn't kicked out, and Seth theoretically has just won the match. Part of me feels there was supposed to be probably McIntyre's music at that moment in time to distract everyone.
Yeah,
possibly, or maybe Damien was supposed to kick out. It's hard to gauge, but it's unfortunate. But these things do happen. They have happened in pretty much every promotion of accidental failures, accidental mistakes, or big mistakes, and so forth. So it's like it feels very harsh. Like a lot of people going, "Oh, it's botching." It's like, "Oh, he got caught in the rope and now he's botching." It's like,
nah,
just stop it.
I will say that Triple H did a really good job of repairing that during the post show, where he both kayfabe and non-kayfabe explained it, where he says, well, we're going to have a conversation with that referee at some point. So basically, kayfabe plonking it on the referee, but also saying, look, this happens. We're all human. Yeah. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Also, the commentators basically saying, "Oh well, we didn't actually see what the referee could see because maybe he saw something that we didn't see." So I was just like, "They played that well."
Because the ref was right there in the face, and he saw the movement of.
Yeah.
It was
for the benefit of audio listeners, I just moved my hand barely a millimeter away from my other hand.
Yes.
Do you know what? I've got a better explanation. You know how we had that infamous pin about a pay-per-view or 2 ago where somebody's shoulder was clearly up the whole freaking time.
Yeah.
This is now the referees being extra gun shy. They're making absolutely sure, and in there making sure they stuffed up the other way.
Maybe Seth Rollins should have just done like a Ted DiBiase and just gone, "Where's that referee? He tried to film me." At the end of the match. But basically what happens at the end of the match, Drew does cash in. It becomes a triple threat. And within at least a minute, CM Punk turns up after his very bloody brutal beatdown. Jeremy, yes?
If I may, the key detail which I realized immediately, which actually makes Drew to look like a bit of an idiot, because he made it a triple threat match, he made it no DQ.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which meant that there could not be any repercussions in the context of the match for Punk getting involved.
And commentary said that when he went up with the belt. He said, well, they can't throw it out. That's it.
Oh, when he was choking him, they said they can't do anything.
No, nothing we can do.
Yep. CM Punk turns up, causes Michael Cole to rarely swear as well.
Yes.
He's just going, "Holy shit, it's CM Punk." And this is like wailing chair shots. He even takes a liking to the World Heavyweight Championship. Bashes bashes Drew with it. Damien hits South of Heaven, and Damien retains. But the bigger thing as well is it's not just the feud with Drew that CM Punk has now managed to even heighten in all "I'm going to kill you."
He's not poured petrol on just that feud.
No, he's poured petrol on Seth Rollins as well, because now Seth Rollins cannot challenge for the belt.
Whilst Damian Priest is holding it. There's a nice loophole there.
There is a little loophole there while Damian Priest holds it. I thought this was fun. It's like Agreed. You can't. This was this was the clear storytelling that they were setting out. It was basically Drew was going to get screwed either winning the case or when he was cashed in. And it came with getting cashed in. And it's just, it's like Jamie said, it's added gasoline to that feud. And it's just like, you throw in Seth Rollins as well. This is going to be very interesting moving forward.
I'll bring in another fact as well. This is also the third match that Damien has had where he didn't have help with the Judgment Day this time winning, but he had help with Punk. So
excellent observation, Harriet. Yes. I noticed that as well. Yeah, excellent observation.
So it's kind of, I was thinking about this because when I was watching, I was like, wait a minute, no, this is going to go back into his psyche of like, I can't win this on my own. I can't defend this on my own.
Damien reacted in that way at the end of the match as well.
Yes, that's what made me clock it. I was like, he was mad. And I was thinking,
it's the growing frustration that, like, overall, he's going to think that people just don't seem to think that he's going to be able to carry a match on his own. You know, he isn't like a worthy champion or anything like that. He just wants to prove that he can be. And the problem is, sorry, I'll finish the thought and then I'll let you. Right. The problem is Damien cashed in Money in the Bank. So he already had that riding against him from the get-go.
Yeah.
So it is a really interesting sort of caveat. I'm going to say he's more babyface now than heel. But what I love about a lot of the main event characters in play now, they're not straight up baby faces. They're not straight up heels. They can literally pivot either end and still be natural in their personality and their characteristics. So this is what I'm enjoying about modern day WWE. Sorry, Harriet, go on.
No, I was going to say this could be another thing to add to the fire with Finn and say like, well, we didn't interfere. And this is how the splits kind of carries on. So Finn could throw it in his face like, well, you lost anyway. So kind of going forward. So
the other thing that's interesting as well, and I can't remember who we were talking about this with, but it was something, is that it's the reverse of the Roman problem in that every one of his title matches had interference for his benefit. But now it's every one of his title matches has interference for his benefit through no fault of his own.
Yes.
It's kind of a very weird sort of reversal of situation, which is it's an interesting take, but personally speaking, and again, this is just based on me only seeing the PLEs, I want to see him just get a competently clean win. That's what I really want out of all this. But
considering the next event is now SummerSlam, that probably isn't going to happen if it's against Gunther. But then again, we all thought Braun Breaker was going to beat Sammy, and that didn't happen. So we can all think Gunther's going to beat Damien, and that might not happen.
It effectively takes two players out of the game for Damian Priest now to now focus on another feud, which he's got at least a couple in the fire now. If you got Finn slowly burning away behind him, so interesting times are coming. And I kind of like that. We haven't just set in stone what's going to happen before us. And you forget, SummerSlam is less than a month away.
Is it 2 nights this year or 1 night? I forget.
A 1 night this year. It goes 2 nights, I think, in
2026. Yes.
Yeah, which is really confusing.
It's like August 3rd is SummerSlam, point of reference.
Yes.
Yeah. Because SummerSlam used to be mid to late August, but because we got Bash at Berlin, it's pushed it down the pecking order, which is so weird for SummerSlam. But also, it's SummerSlam. It should be like in the summer, not like just on the cusp of autumn.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Sorry.
God, the way CM Punk came into the ring, though, and started pummeling Drew, I appreciate everything that we talked about after Clash at the Castle aside. I actually really like where this is going now. It's like Punk is just that devil that will not go away.
Yeah.
And it's actually now really funny that they've somehow carried it on.
There's a great bit after the match is over and Punk's just sat on the commentating desk with the belt. And Michael Cole's going, it's like, what are you doing? Why did you do it, Punk? It's like, it's my job.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
My job.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear. But yes, things are going to get very interesting there, so we'll see how that progresses. And then we move over to Women's Money in the Bank. We had Chelsea Green. Is it Chelsea? Do I need to do the Chelsea or the Green? Is it
it's
the Green?
The Green.
It's the Chelsea Green.
Chelsea's a build-up, and then the green is just the expansion of energy. So Chelsea Green.
If you want, I can cover that for you.
Chelsea Green. See, I did it better than Michael Cole does.
I was not expecting such discussion about it. That was impressive.
Because it's such a good thing for a character.
I'm not doubting that. I wasn't expecting us to be analysing it. It's great. Especially because it says it at the start of her entrance music, and then the ring announcer says it as well.
That's new, yeah.
One of the biggest crimes that he shall not be named ever committed was stopping Samantha Irvin from having that introduction for Chelsea Green, and I'm so happy it's there. So
yes. So Chelsea Green versus Naomi versus Zoe Stark versus Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria versus Tiffany Stratton, and we talked about ladder spots in the first match. Oh boy!
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!
It's. I mean, the commentators describe it as a car crash, but it's more like, yes, it's a car crash, but it's also one you can't really look away from.
And this is going back to my earlier point of this being so innovative for offense. This was so innovative, but it was edge of your seat innovative because best will in the world, much as I love this match, things kind of kept feeling like they sort of went a bit awry, or you were like, oh, that didn't look nice.
It added to the charm of the match. I mean, there was some obvious botching there, but because of the way it was frenetic, it kind of peppered in. There was one blatant bit where I think it was Zoe Stark.
She somehow headbutted the ladder on a dive.
She headbutted the ladder. She literally did her move and landed headfirst onto the edge of the ladder, not really hitting Lyra Valkyria at all, who then proceeded to just roll out the ring and play dead. Like she got hit by the most devastating move. Can I bring back an old thing from an AEW review, everybody? Because it's got to be said. They tried to commit murder! Murder!
Why murder?
Matty, I raise you. Which time?
Multiple murders! Murder!
Yeah,
was this the one where... Hang on. Was this the one where I think it was someone did a pile driver to someone from the top of the ladder or something? Onto another ladder?
No,
it was Io, wasn't it? It was Io on Zoe, I think.
She did like a pile driver on Zoe Stark, and I was just like, well, Zoe Stark is dead.
I think that's what Corey Graves said.
I mean, they
they
tried to split Naomi wide open by just dragging the ladders about. It was a fun split. It's like, oh look, Naomi does the splits, but it's just like, no. In under different circumstances, that's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna break someone's legs with these ladders. It'll be fun.
That's a Mortal Kombat X-ray in motion there.
But you know what, though, Matty? You brought up an interesting thing, and this is what I think adds to it is... sorry, I should clarify pre-murder. But you were mentioning about how it added to the drama of the match.
Yeah.
If anything, because... And I don't want to use the word car crash, because it's not the phrase I want to use, because I really enjoyed this. But again... Even you could tell from the crowd, everyone was like, Jesus, please be okay, everybody. It was that feeling, but this actually felt like a real fight.
Yeah.
Because things are unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen next. Things just happen. You try and throw a chair at someone. Maybe it bounces off of a thing. I know it didn't happen in this match, but example. That's why this match stood out so much, because of the unpredictability of it.
Two things from a technical point of view. Obviously, there was rest spots for nearly all of the players involved. The camera crew not once showed that from happening and made you forget that they were having their rest spots. Lyra Valkyria pretending to be dead after being hit by nothing in the side. Number two, when they were setting up the pyramid of ladders, they were doing it whilst fighting each other and simultaneously setting up. It felt like the fight was still going on and the ladders were just so happened to be placed. And before you know it, they built a structure whilst simultaneously decking each other. I think the only blatant sort of thing to occur during all of this is when Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green set up to tables on the outside, and you just knew that either one or both was going to go through them because the pair of them were clearly setting that up and sorting the sequence out for later on. But apart from that, everything in this match had a sort of... It just felt natural in a way. As you said, you brought up that it was an actual sort of fight. And not once did you, apart from that one time, did anything feel forced. Everything felt like it had its place. I'm going to say it now. Out of the two Money in the Bank matches, I love this one. This is my match of the night.
I think it's the strongest one this year.
And the same last year as well.
Yeah. We remember the obviously we remember Damien Priest winning, but our memories were mostly of that women's match.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's the same again. It's like they try and outdo each other each time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, last year had that fun finish of Io Sky handcuffing. I think it was Becky and someone else together. Bailey, as she just went about, I've got the case. Yay. And they're just leaning against Lego. And yep, she got the case. And we're handcuffed.
Io Sky was incredible throughout this entire match.
Oh god! There's a bit when she landed on a ladder, or she had a.
It was the power driver on Zoe.
Yeah, and basically she's just lying, doing. It's like she's just
like a reverse. Yeah,
it's like reversals. Like she's just kind of scrunched up.
I'll tell you what she was doing. She was doing a dynamic hamstring stretch because I've done that in yoga classes. That's flexibility. Also, she was probably giving her back like I must uncurl my back because I probably just jolted it up like 5 feet.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's no stuff. I think out of the lot, Chelsea Green's probably MVP of the match because it's like there's some adorable things. I mean, first she tried to jump to try and just grab the briefcase. Chelsea, it's not that high. That's really high, Chelsea. And then it's like, I'll knock it down with a ladder. They were playing a lot with her fear of heights, and they had like a little video before. I think during the kickoff where they went to like the tallest building as well to do things as well. So they were kind of playing into that. And just the table spot at the end is like, ow.
But do you know what? That was gracefully done. That was very well done. I will say that.
Yes.
I've got it.
I've got it.
But also, I think everyone stood out really well in this match. But of course, above all else, the question is always who's going to win. And based on what I saw and how the match began and whatnot, I immediately thought it's either Chelsea or Tiffany. That's just what felt most natural based on what I saw. And ultimately, it's Tiffy time.
Yes. Yep. And the nice thing about Tiffany having the briefcase is it doesn't have to be forced. It doesn't have to be rushed. We've got time. She's got like a supporting role in the Nia Jax Bailey storyline at the moment. So she could cash in at SummerSlam after that match, or might be down the line later on. I think it'll be interesting to see. And I think it was going to be, you're right, it was going to be Tiffany or Chelsea. I kind of would have liked it to be Chelsea. That's just me.
Yeah,
same. I mean, even though she kind of threatened to say, I'm going to bring back the Divas Championship if she did. And I'm like, oh, God, no, please don't. But also, I wouldn't like you to win. But
yes.
Yeah.
The thing is, her bringing back the Divas Championship would just be for her. It'd be like the equivalent of an unsanctioned title. It's just literally on paper, she would be whatever the equivalent of the championship would be. But outwardly, she's wearing the Divas Championship.
It'll be like when Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson had his eco-friendly belt.
Oh my God!
Love that belt.
It's a nice belt. It's a lovely belt. There was also a teased confrontation with Trish Stratus backstage.
I'm sorry, Ian. Trishy, Tiffy, all that sort of stuff.
Trish Stratus and Tiffy.
It was a weird promo between them because they kept going toodles and toodles. And it's like, who wrote this? Just looking around going,
even the interview is like the audacity.
Kathy Kelly having fun.
What I really loved was as they cut back to ringside, you could hear one of the commentators saying, "Get control of backstage, will you?" I was watching the show on headphones, so I heard it.
But we interrupt this for a very important announcement. Felf has now bought the John Cena album on CD.
Yes. Such wonderful Such wonderful music.
Excellent.
Anyway,
my work here is done. Insert Sailor Moon meme here.
So we move on from women's Money in the Bank to the main event, which was a 6-man tag. It was your undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes, babyface supreme, with KO and Randy Orton taking on Bloodline 2.0, which was Solo Sikoa, the now self-anointed tribal chief. We had Tama Tonga and the WWE in-ring debut of Jacob Fatu, who apparently WWE had to pull some strings to get him across the border, understandably because of a criminal record. And yes, Tongalo was there in the background in a nice suit, doing things, and we'll talk about those things later. But yes, this is your bog standard 6-man tag of fun, of excitement, of aggression. I think it's more building the validity of the Bloodline 2.0, especially highlighting how dangerous Jacob Fatu is. I think for the last couple of weeks they've done a marvelous job of demonstrating that, from like completely decimating Cody on his first appearance to completely murdering Paul Heyman the second week in a row. And then it's like little bits. It's like little bits. Like immediately gets, I think his first interactions with Randy Orton, gets the vintage Orton on the ropes and just jumps up. Jumps up just as Randy's just on the floor, ready to RKO. He goes, "Oh, you're up there." This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen normally. But yeah, this was a match that went the usual Bloodline route. Lots of back and forth. Ref bump times 2. This time squashed against the steps.
That ref, Dane. That ref.
I have to say, I did love the fact of like when he got bumped, and then suddenly it's like, "Oh, I need to move," and they quickly just scuttled out of the way.
That's what I thought about. That guy clearly hasn't been to ref school. He doesn't know how to play dead.
I don't recognize him, so he must be new-ish. So
maybe the against the steps is to kind of highlight. You need to play dead more.
I watched Collision almost immediately after the post show, and in one of the matches,
Should I take my headphones off?
No, it's not spoiling anything. Don't worry, Jamie. I'm not going to do any results. But one of the matches, one of the refs gets a light tap and is effectively like he's been shot.
As happens in real life.
Yeah. So between that and this guy, holy mama, he has risen.
The thing that I think, just to chime in, pardon me, unless anyone else wants to say something else quickly, I think this was a really good showcase for Jacob Fatu in a match, because I'd seen the spot involving Cody and like the giant frog splash of destiny to the table outside and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of seen a few of the other clips. He's got so much charisma. Holy heck. It's like charisma times 1,000. But this was a really good showcase for him. I actually wanted more. I felt like I almost got a bit shortchanged with how much I didn't get to see him, considering they said WWE probably had to pull some strings to get him over the border. It's like, that's all you got him to do for that kind of thing. But that aside, I thought him as part of this bloodline has elevated it so much, and it's already been great fun from all the clips I've seen and such. But Jacob Fatu has a presence.
Yeah.
And you just look at him. If you would look at all 4 of them side by side, you're just drawn to Jacob Fatu. Just for the look, the presence, the way he stands. He is going to be something amazingly special in this bloodline feud, however it develops, because boy, there are some possibilities for what they could do down the line if when Roman were to return, as it were, which I'm sure is something we'll get onto accordingly.
I'm in 2 minds about this bloodline storyline. Just to basically peel back the curtain, because we don't normally talk about the weekly product that much. We often talk about the wrestling shows. This bloodline storyline just hasn't gone the way I thought it might go. Where they were talking about when this started, when we started the great pivot after Roman lost his match, and we haven't seen him since. Solo was talking about doing stuff for the tribal chief without having Paul Heyman like consult the phone or anything like that. And in my mind, it was sort of he was conspiratorially I can't speak. Talking about their tribal chief being The Rock. Where this seems to have gone down a road now is like Solo's now appointed himself the tribal chief.
Like he's got power hungry.
Like he's now that power hungry. Where does that leave not only Roman, but The Rock? He is the final boss.
I still think to a degree The Rock is going to be on a higher plane above Solo when he comes back. Maybe he becomes the wise man to Solo. That would be an interesting thing. Basically, he's the wise man, but ultimately has the say and the control per se.
But
I think Rogue.
I was going to say, through the mentality, though, if Solo wants to be acknowledged, he would do the same thing Roman did and get The Rock to acknowledge him. Or maybe... I don't see that happening the same way, though.
Well, no. Well, yeah. Shawn Michael Dunn has said The Rock is like a high chief. So basically, if The Rock comes back in to align with Solo as the high chief, and as the high chief said, well, I've seen how Roman as a tribal chief has worked. I've seen how Solo as a tribal chief has worked. I think Solo is the stronger tribal chief. I'm aligned with him. That sort of stuff.
I will back off from that point then for the time being, but I'm really intrigued about where this storyline will potentially go down, considering this is very much a slow burner.
Yeah,
Civil War 2, baby. That's what it's going to lead to.
Yeah. I think when Roman comes back, it's obviously Roman is going to return as a babyface, and he's going to be it. The roof's going to explode when he comes back.
Yeah.
But also, I think there's a great sort of redemption storyline there, preferably for Roman, because if he's getting the original bloodline kind of back in to help deal with the new bloodline, it's kind of like, we've got to bury the hatchet with Jay. We've kind of got to bury it with Sammy. We've got to make peace with some of the issues that's happened.
You reckon they get Sammy back involved? Then that's an interesting thing you just said.
Sorry, Sean's just brought up a couple of people that have been rumored to have been signed, and I'll bring in a third as well. So Zilla Fatu is still to come, Umaga's son. Also Hikuleo, who's rumored to be the new Tala Tonga. So he apparently allegedly he has now been signed. So where did these guys fit into the grand scheme?
Wait a minute. What if it was not just 2 warring factions? What if there's a third one coming?
I was literally going to say this might go circa, but far better. 1998 late year WCW when the War Games match had 3 teams in it.
Yeah. So you've got original bloodline, new bloodline, and then maybe a Rock-led bloodline.
And Rocky bloodline.
This is all going to lead to the greatest return known in wrestling. We need to basically sit down and appreciate the fact that this will eventually mark the return of Manu.
Okay.
Somebody's forgotten Manu. Anyway,
you've pulled out a deep cut there, mate. Flipping a heck.
The slow burn of the realization. Or people just say, "Shut up, Matt."
Not at all. I was not expecting you to pull that much of a deep cut. That's why I was like thinking, if I had an awkward look on my face, folks, it's like, you did just say that, right?
Yep.
That was more what it was. So
I've just watched Ian just like the I don't know what you're talking about. Looks to the other screen. Oh.
It's like, okay. Again, and in full screen mode for everyone watching video again.
Well, there you go.
He's quickly not looking to the Wikipedia page to have a look.
It's my response to when people go Ghostbusters. It's like, all right.
Somebody out there, whether it be on YouTube or Twitch, watching right now, please, do you remember Manu? And how did he?
I'll just say one word or 2 words. Technically, head shrinkers. I'll just say that. All right.
It's like, okay, he's part of the family, but it's just like,
I mean,
let's
be fair though. The Rocky bloodline that could form from this, it will have to be legends. It will have to be The Rock, we'll have to have Rikishi apologizing once again for running over Steve Austin in his
But
car.
he did it. But he did it for The Rock.
We're going to go like, if we're going to go deep cuts here,
Matty's
this is what
gone.
we've got to do.
I know. I just thought of something even worse.
Can Drew Carey be the wise man to The Rock?
Oh, please.
God.
I mean, you can bring back Deuce.
Why are we just going down the list of these are old wrestlers?
Ian, there was a family tree of WrestleMania thing. Anyone on that list is eligible.
Okay.
Anyone is eligible.
Sorry.
But in an attempt to restore order here for the benefit of the review, while Matty is laughing at this match was, like you said, Ian, it was pretty a standard 6-man tag match, but because of everything surrounding it, you were so intrigued. And Jacob Fatu stood out like $1,000,000. The fact, if I remember correctly, Solo pinned Cody.
Yes.
Yep.
I can't remember, but is that Cody's first pinfall loss since he became champion?
Yes.
Yeah.
So obvious direction there. Solo getting a title, which was first teased at Clash at the Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of other things at play going on in here. It wouldn't surprise me because I didn't realize that Kevin Owens and Randy Orton are effectively now known as RKO as a tag team based on the t-shirt, which was a nice little touch.
They kind of are, but they haven't really been going after tag team goal. I mean, DIY just became the new tag team champions of SmackDown on the Friday before as well, which was a good match as well. Little shades of their Toronto takeover, and even a big rig was done.
Oh, a little FTR shout out.
Nice little FTR shout out.
Because the reason I mention the tag team element is because there's other members of the bloodline, so you could do tag team matches of that. There's a lot of directions they could go in here, and it's just a question of it's now 4 in new bloodline, 2.0, where we want to call it Solo's bloodline. There's 4 of them in there. Yeah, there's only kind of 3 on the other side at the moment. Who's the 4th man?
Naomi.
Why not? Why not? I know she's married to Jimmy,
but I will say sorry, Harry, after you because I've said a lot. Go for it.
I was gonna say I will say the last 5 minutes of the match really kind of like you had power bombs on the announce table. You couldn't even hear Corey Graves at one point because his mic cut out. The Prime bottle was used.
Yes.
Yeah. But it was kind of and everyone
RKO's up the wazoo, as it were.
Yep.
And speaking of up the wazoo, Tangaloa. Tangaloa.
Please continue.
Now look,
Jeremy.
far be it for me to criticize anyone attempting to deliver a low blow, but I want to draw people's attention. If you can Google it, feel free. It's a very funny gif. I want to draw your attention to an infamous moment involving the Dudley Boys when they were known as Team 3D, wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They were at the Tokyo Dome, I think it was, and there is a moment where they're doing the "What's up?" headbutt, and somehow Devon manages to do a phantom headbutt before actually hitting the headbutt on his opponent. And you still don't know how it happened. It's quite impressive. Hopefully you can just Google Devon Phantom Headbutt and it'll show up.
You know how it happened, Jeremy? It happened by the power of extreme!
Possibly. But at that point, they weren't as extreme. They were... Anyway, I digress. But the reason I bring this up is because that shouldn't be physically possible. Tangaloa, it shouldn't be physically possible to do this low blow how you did it. And I still don't really know how you did it. But however you did it, it shouldn't be possible to do it how you did it.
Well, first and foremost, it was a gentle pat on the butt, and then it was a low blow.
Tactile telekinesis, and that's all I'm saying on that.
Yeah. So it was just like maybe like it's like good job, Kevin. Good job. Wait a minute, you've got Tama.
It's like attaboy.
Attaboy, wait a minute. What are you doing to my brother?
Oh my god! I had to rewind that because I was like, did he? What?
Did he just really pat him on the butt? Yes, he did. Good work, KO. Wait a minute.
Oh,
I mean, look, I'll be honest. When I first saw it, I thought he was kind of doing the equivalent of a special move in a video game where he was like powering it up. So I kind of thought I kind of thought he just went boom, just like pulling his arm back just to power it up. I've totally destroyed everyone else on this podcast.
Jeremy, I just recovered from some mass hysteria.
You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. For the benefit of the podcast, I'll keep talking. He had to go Super Saiyan to do the headbutt.
Oh, that golf putt really didn't go first time, so we'll go full whack next time.
Literally.
Strength 1. Next strength, power drive.
I just don't want to see a 5-episode long blinking fight sequence, Jeremy. Can I just not have that?
No, it's WWE. You always have that.
Fight forever. Fight forever.
I mean, if they're going to fight forever, Tonka might not even hit any of the strikes.
Well, just like any good episode of Dragon Ball Z, the best strikes are the ones that are just fleeting.
Yeah, true.
I mean, look, how many episodes did it take Goku to become Super Saiyan? It could have been the equivalent for Tangaloa doing this low blow.
If you are not into your anime, we apologize right now. Actually, we're not sorry because we're all anime nuts. But
okay,
also,
I'll do another wrestling analogy.
Even powered up during the commercial break.
Think of when a WWE event of any year has had a really long entrance ramp and how long it's taken someone to meander down. In fact, here you go. Remember the year there was the Royal Rumble where they held it in like the Alamo Dome?
Oh, yes, I remember this one.
And there was like the truck they tried not to show anybody on. So Braun Strowman started walking and they cut away and they cut back and he was magically at ringside. It's like that, except there was no truck.
I have always wanted to, because there were funny angles on that runway of people running towards the ring, and I so badly want to set that to the Baywatch theme because it's funny. I'll be there. They're going to the ring. I'll be there.
I mean, best one in the world. And I appreciate I'm just throwing more shade now. You could potentially make a montage of Tangaloa moments in wrestling to the Baywatch theme and just have "I'll be there."
Yeah,
and he's just
I'm not there.
nearly late for all of them. His debut, he was nearly late for it because of how loud the crowd was. You could say "I'll be there," but it's the mistimed low blow. There are lots of things that happen. Hey, look at one of his final New Japan matches when he had to do the what was it called? The Revolution Revival match, or whatever it was called, where he had to like eat eels for 1 round of the match.
No, even better. Oops, I did it again.
I just like the idea of just getting a karaoke version going, "I'll be there." You're not there. However, you're not even there. But yes, the long and short of this 6-man tag, the Bloodline one, Cody got pinned by Solo, and we're quite clearly going towards Solo versus Cody at SummerSlam, which is probably where Roman is back.
Yeah,
because
sorry.
Yes, we're doing the deep breath, everyone. Back scene.
As awesome as that is, I'm really, 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 really looking forward to a potential feud between Kevin Owens and Jacob Fatu.
Yes,
look at the eye daggers.
That's going to be amazing.
So
That's going to be amazing. Also, on our discussion about the whole thing Bloodline, regardless, it feels like this pay-per-view of Bad Blood is quite clearly going to be Bloodline themed.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like Bad Blood. Why? That's about all the Bloodline fights are going to go down. Right.
I look forward to them adjusting the logo, where through the word blood there'll be a line through it.
Oh,
to imply Bad Bloodline.
Bloodline.
I'm calling it now.
Is that what they're just going to call? They're not going to do like the new Bloodline. No, they're just a bad Bloodline. The Bloodline's gone bad.
Is that what we're going to start doing? Just start calling all the factions old pay-per-view names. You got Judgment Day. Now you got Bad Blood.
Okay. Here's a thought. Here's tinfoil hat moment number 50 from me today. So,
is it Manu?
No.
Okay.
There are seemingly reports going around, and I don't check much, but I see the odd thing on Twitter and stuff, apparently WWE is trademarking old WCW pay-per-view names.
They are.
One of them is called New Blood Rising, which is one of the most infamous pay-per-views in WCW history. That's its own podcast in itself.
I remember we were talking about it during the Invasion special that we did on the channel back in year 2, I think, or year 1.
There you go. But yeah, if there's any way to make the phrase New Blood Rising not immediately make you think of the turgid dross that was the majority of that show, this would be it. Call them the New Blood Rising, because they don't want to be a bloodline, because lines don't rise unless they're on a graph. It's been a long week, folks. Please bear with me.
Sean, while this lot recovers, Shawn Michael Dunce just said something that kind of broke me a little bit. Not in the ha side, but I have this very wild prediction that Cody runs the bloodline and faces Roman at Mania in a reverse role. I don't think so, Sean.
I can't see it.
Wild theory. I like it, but there ain't no way Cody's going heel.
No.
Are we going to go full Star Trek Klingon, bonded by blood handshake style thing?
I mean, pretty much that's how the bloodline started.
Yep.
Blood brothership. So,
But anyway, I think it is pretty much time to start wrapping this show up, and we have pretty much finished with the last match. So that was Money in the Bank 2024. I think, and overall, it was a good show. Yes, there are some slight negatives and some slight unavoidable moments, but I think generally it's still been quite fun.
Yeah.
It's been quite fun.
Great.
And I'm looking forward to SummerSlam.
So SummerSlam predictions then, Ian. What are you thinking are going to be some of the top matches? We know now, what is it, Damian Priest and Gunther, based on what they said in the show.
Nia Jax versus Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
We are probably going to get Cody versus
Solo.
Punk and Drew.
Yeah, Punk and Drew, if Punk is cleared by then. The thing is with Liv Morgan, it's is that an opportunity? I think Morgan will probably have a maybe another match, possibly versus Zelina Vega or something, but also it's when is Rhea coming back? Because I think we're approaching that suggested time that Rhea's going to come back. Also, Charlotte is supposed to be ready to go shortly as well. So that's going to be quite interesting. I think we might see a rematch for Intercontinental with Braun and Sammy. It depends how they approach SummerSlam, because I don't know if they're going to approach SummerSlam like a bigger stat card. So they might go for 7 matches or 8 matches for this one than because obviously after Mania and the Rumble, it's the last of the so-called big. Well, I wouldn't say Survivor Series is a big 4 anymore. I think the big 4 has mostly just been Royal Rumble, Mania, Money in the Bank because of obviously the implications, and SummerSlam. That's just me.
You also got AJ Styles and Logan Paul.
Oh
I was actually about to bring up Logan Paul.
LA Knight and Paul. Yeah.
I think you could technically hold off any potential faction versus faction sort of feud until War Games. I don't call it Survivor Series anymore. It's War Games.
And they've got William Regal back now.
Yeah.
So they can roll him out to shout it.
They can roll him out.
What are you doing? Wait, where's Charlie? Charlie's gone over to TNA. Okay, what do you want me to do? Say War Games. All right, War Games.
Okay, Rico, you're done for another year.
John just brought back, does Gunther not get a title match winning King of the Ring?
We mentioned it.
I believe they announced that his match with Damian will be for the title. I think I did see that on the show.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean, we did bring it up.
Yes. But yes.
I'm trying to think what other belt, who's got what belts? Just trying to think in general. Are there any other belts?
There'll probably be women's tag. I mean, Jade and Bianca are hell bent on getting them back. I'm trying to what else tag team wise. We've got Judgment Day. Judgment Day will go up against a team. Probably it might be Miz and R-Truth again, just to finalize that. There's I think a lot of things are going to start probably become clear when we go to Raw on Monday.
Yeah.
One thing that obviously with them being the big 4, the big 5, I mean, SummerSlam should be like the closing and the start of basically the autumn run of storylines leading up to the Royal Rumble. So it'd be interesting to see what gets sparked off from that as well. Yeah, very much looking forward to it. I am thinking of staying up to watch it this time. So that will be really cool.
I mean, they've been starting because what was it? Because it started midnight this morning for Money in the Bank. The main show was pretty much done by 3 a.m. So,
Yeah.
And then basically you stayed up because basically the post show was just as interesting. Oh yeah, because Drew got very angry again, and he hit Adam Pearce. He's in trouble.
Yeah. That's one thing we need to cover about the post show as well.
Yes.
I mean, Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett's involvement in all this as well. The character work involved in that. Yet again, he's the one who stepped in. Drew smacking Adam Pearce in the head during the scuffle, and Wade being the one to step in to stop that from escalating, and then Wade just deflecting. Everyone's digging into him, saying, "What do you think?" And he went, "I've had everything I had to say about this. I've been fined, and I'm not going to talk about it no more. If you want to know what I thought, I stand by what I said about a month ago, and I've been fined for that, and I'm not going to go into it right now." And it carried on and on. Yeah. And he said, "No, I said what I said. I stand by it. I'm not deflecting it.
I'm not going to say it again.
I will side with Drew, though. Yes, he was angry and he was hitting people. He didn't know he hit Adam Pearce.
Yeah.
Because his arm went back.
Yeah.
And also, where does Seth fit into this picture now?
Do you think this could be a way of keeping Drew out of it until potentially the autumn?
Possibly.
Because he has now struck the general manager, which you don't do.
I think it's going to come down to what is Punk's fitness, ready to go, and so forth. Because it's a very hot angle. If you can't progress it for the next show, try and find a way to keep it going. And then maybe a faux suspension might be in line or something. Just keep that ticking over.
So. I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to keep Drew in the periphery, then bring him in for the big match between him and CM Punk.
Yeah, absolutely. But yes, we shall see. I think it's pretty much time to wrap up this episode of BunkaMania. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the lively discussion. A nice bumper chat of fun with a full contingent. As always, if you'd like to know when we go live next, hit the follow button on Twitch. It's completely free to do so. Or if you're watching on YouTube and you want to be notified when we go live, or even if we have videos, pre-recorded ones made, hit the subscribe button. Completely free to do so as well. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. There is brand new content in different forms coming to the channels very, very soon. We have been doing a lot of wrestling content over the summer. We are going to start introducing pop and geek culture content. We're going to be introducing a new show called BunkaMania Watchlist, where we're talking all things in the world of streaming, whether that be on Netflix, Disney, Amazon, or even a home release like a DVD or a Blu-ray. So if you want to be notified when the first episodes of that go live, it's a great time to hit the follow buttons on Twitch and on YouTube as well. And as well as that, we will be doing brand new episodes of BunkaMania Goes to the Movies, which is our little wrestling movie show. We'll also be talking about general movie releases as well on that channel and on that show. But yes, we have unfinished business with The Chaperone to deal with this month. So that episode is hopefully going to be available towards the end of July. As well.
And of course, John Cena Appreciation Year is coming.
Yes, we mentioned it. It's definitely going to happen. But other little bits of content. We're hopefully going to try and do a Deadpool and Wolverine review as one of the first BunkaMania movie podcast shows as well. That's going to be towards the end of the month as well. So yes, we are starting to branch out. We're starting to do a little bit different formats of content and all that sort of stuff. And also, if you've been very familiar with Quiz Smash on my channel, the Dekker Dane, or from any of the convention events like KidderCon, AmiCon, or even in the early Bunkerzilla days, Quiz Smash will be coming back from the autumn as well. So lots of exciting stuff going on the channel, and your best place to be the first to see it is by hitting those buttons. But we all do other little forms of content as well. It's time to do the round robin of what people do as well online. Jeremy, lead us off.
I am Jeremy. You can find what I do via a helpful link tree under my username, Giraffemy, which is Geraffemy. Imagine a giraffe and a Jeremy, and I've fused them together like a Dragon Ball Z fusion. Giraffe for me. I tend to stream every Friday from about 7 p.m. UK time, playing some games with Fel Floney, who was in the chat earlier, and we like to watch some bits and bobs here and there as well. And you can find links to my other YouTube channels and such, where I do some unboxings and other related material as well. So come and join me on a Friday if you feel so inclined.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. Matty, over to you.
You can find me on some kind of wrestling content called BunkaMania UK. I don't know where you can find it. You may not even be watching this right now. But other than that, you can find me personally driving Dane insane right now. But also you can find me under Threads and Instagram under Mattyboo Super, which in itself is also a reference to the anime Dragon Ball Super. And Mattyboo tweets over on that website I very rarely use, although I am starting to look at wrestling content on there again. Don't do that. It's madness, guys. It's madness. I also do a Twitch, which I will come back to eventually. It is called Mattyboo Twitches. I will eventually start a playthrough of Telltale Batman series, The Enemy Within. So I think that's what it's called. Basically, Telltale series Batman Season 2. When I get some free time, which is usually never. And that's pretty much me.
Thank you very much, Maddie. And Harriet.
At the moment, I'm probably going to take a hiatus on my streaming because I have other stuff I need to do at the moment. But I am continuing with reactions. I actually reacted my own video to the John Cena retirement earlier on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/MangaGirl232. I kind of do reactions mainly on that channel. Monday Night War should be back hopefully next week or the week after. On Twitch, when I do stream, at the moment it's kind of Fortnite and just random games. You can find me on Twitch, Harriet_MangaGirl. I usually post on Twitter when I'm going to go live or what I'm doing. So again, you can find me at MangaGirl232 on Twitter. And yeah, that's my regime pretty much at the moment. Just catch up, and hopefully I'm able to catch up very soon.
Thank you very much, Harriet. And if you want to follow me, I'm on Twitch at the Dekker Dane, all one word. I stream every Monday doing a watch along where we're diving into the weird and wonderful animated shows of the past, where we're currently looking at Extreme Dinosaurs, even Visionaries, or maybe MC Hammer in Hammerman. You can join me Monday nights at 8 o'clock there. Wednesdays, if I've got the time, I do a bit of wacky Fortnite as well at about 5:30 for about 2 hours. Basically, you can help or you can hinder my progress in trying to win a game of Fortnite. It's completely down to you. But yes, it'd be lovely to see some of you guys there when I stream. Right, so I think it's time to cash out. That's enough. All the talking about the money. We're cashing out. It's time to head on the road to SummerSlam. So thank you very much for watching. A big thank you to the team as well for taking part as well. And we will see everyone very, very soon. So until next time, from me, the Dekker Dane, from the rest of the team, Jeremy, Harriet, and Matty, let's all together go ka-ching on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ka-ching! Ka-ching! Ka-ching!
Manu.
Damn
Bye,
it, Matty.
everybody.